If I spent 100 years trying to imagine it, I couldn't, because it's impossible to imagine something having more power than all power. Is everyone following so far? So if God is real, and we have not established whether or not God is real, but if there is a God, and He is the greatest conceivable being, He has to be all-powerful. Now, I know a lot. Like, I know who the first 5 X-Men were. I know who the original drummer for the Beatles was. I know things. I know that in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. I know things. I know all the lyrics to We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. I know things. Now, can you imagine someone knowing more than me? Yeah, easily. Easily. How much more? Well, again, let's follow it to its conclusion. How much would someone have to know where I cannot imagine someone knowing more than this much? How much would someone have to know and say, I can't imagine knowing more than that?
A lot.
A lot. How much is that? Yeah. What was that word you said?
Omniscient.
To be omniscient, meaning to know everything.
How did you know that?
Because I'm smart.
Maybe he's omniscient.
Oh.
Are you God? We're going to find out.
Oh man.
Your brother is Morse.
Now,
Search for him.
Some like
to be omniscient is to know everything. And sometimes I have people argue that point with me. They'll say, well, God doesn't know the future because the future is not written. I said, if God does not know the future, then whoever you're talking about isn't God, can't be God. Because God, by His definition, is the greatest conceivable being. And if God doesn't know the future, then I can imagine a being greater. Okay. How big would the greatest conceivable being have to be? How big?
6'3".
6'3". Can I imagine anything bigger than 6'3"?
6'3", 230. We got it.
100 foot
Millennium
Lean.
Could I imagine something bigger than 6'3"?
6'8".
6'8", yeah. So can I imagine something bigger than 6'8"?
Yes.
Can I imagine something bigger than this room?
Yes.
No.
Bigger than this building?
Yes.
Bigger than the planet?
Yes.
Okay, again, let's go to the upper limit. At what point do I say I cannot imagine something bigger than this?
Omnimont.
Omni what? You're right.
Omniworld.
Omni what?
Omniworld.
Omni weren't.
Omniworld.
Omni world, what does that mean?
What does it mean, Joey Shell? The all-knowing?
The bigger than the...
No, Amari's the one who's all knowing.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Alright.
How big? How big is that? How big would God have to be to say I literally cannot imagine? It's impossible to imagine something bigger.
Humongous.
How big is humongous?
Oh, Omnimungus.
Omnimungus.
Huge.
Omni huge.
Omni big. Come on.
Well, let's put it in terms of number. What's the biggest number?
Infinite.
Infinity. God would have to be infinite. Fancy word for that is omnipresent. He's everywhere. He's infinite. There is no limits.
Spicy chicken deluxe.
This is also why God, we say God is pure spirit. Why God does not have a body. Because a body is a limitation. A body, here, look at your body for a second. Your body is your limit in the universe. This is as far as you go. This is the border of your being as far as you are going to extend into the universe. That's it. That's all you get. Now some of you are still growing vertically. You're going to extend your border. As I've gotten older, I've extended my body horizontally. But this is as far as I'm going to go. And I can't get any further. Not only can I not get any further, I can't get out of this. I'm trapped. I can never get outside of my body. This is as far as I can't get away from my body. I mean, I can try. Damn. All right, no. I can't get away from my body. I'm stuck. Yeah, this is as far, now you, again, your wingspan is much longer than mine, but, so you extend further, but that's it. But if God is infinite, He can't be bound by a body. It would be too limiting. How old is God?
Forever old.
Infinitely old. Yes, you know what we call that because of an E? They just made a Marvel movie.
Extraterrestrial.
called
Eternal.
this- Eternal. Yes. If God is the greatest conceivable being, He'd have to be eternal. Means no beginning, no end. This greatest conceivable being would also have to be perfect. Because perfect means without flaw. And if God had a flaw, I can imagine something greater, a being without a flaw. And if God is without flaw, then any change would mean losing something, because he's already perfect. That means God is also a fancy word, immutable, meaning unchanging.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, now, notice, we didn't reference the Bible once. We didn't get references from the Pope. We just said, if this is the definition of God, this is what God would have to be like. A God who is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, eternal, perfect, and immutable. There's more you could come up with, but let's stick with these. And we know that with certainty if there is a God. Just like we knew with certainty that the thing in the bag had to be smaller than the bag, parts, and solid. Now here's the thing, let me ask you. When we actually look at the God that Christians worship, does this accurately describe that God, a God who is all-powerful, all-knowing, infinite, eternal, and perfect?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the God of the Bible has to, if he's real, has to match up with what reason tells us God would have to be like. And it turns out that's the case. Just like the thing, what was in the bag?
The doctor.
The doctor. And the doctor, was he solid?
Yeah.
Were there parts that in the tin?
Yeah.
And was he smaller than the bag?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you weren't here, sorry.
Oh man.
So because of that, I wonder if you would have taken the bet.
That's why class was so quiet, it's true.
Jody. That wasn't very
Jody likes
nice.
picking
I'm
on-
sorry.
Do you-
Jody likes picking on that.
Cesar, do you want me to give him a writing assignment?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I don't want him. I don't want you to.
Oh, how magnanimous of you.
I like.
I love you.
Alright.
You too, Joey.
Are you sure he shouldn't get one?
Yep, sure.
Rock, paper, scissors for writing.
Rock, paper, scissors. Yes, let's do it at games of chance. We'll take bets. All right. So let's keep going. What can we know about God just by using reason? And for that, we're going to go to St. Thomas Aquinas. St. Thomas Aquinas, for my money, is the smartest man ever to walk the face of the earth. Feel free to disagree. I think he's smarter than Einstein, smarter than Kepler, smarter than Oppenheimer, Stephen Hawking, Thomas Jefferson, Stephen King, William Shakespeare. I've never encountered a mind like his. I could be wrong. But he is the most influential Catholic theologian. Outside of the Bible, the person Catholics go to more than anything is Thomas Aquinas. I know when I'm trying to figure something out, I always go to Thomas Aquinas. He wrote a book called the Summa Theologia. It means the sum of all theology. He said, I'm going to give you the answer to every question you could ever possibly have about God, religion, morality, anything. And it's a really, really good book. He never finished it. He died before he could because it's a massive undertaking. But Thomas he's a very, very good writer. And he always takes his opponent's arguments very, very seriously. So Thomas says, he asks the question, does God exist? And Thomas is going to say, I will show you that God exists. He's going to give arguments for God's existence, but it's even further than that. Thomas says, I'm going to prove to you that there's a God. Excuse me. I will prove to you that God is real. And when he says prove, he means it. He doesn't mean like, well, I'm going to give you an argument that might change your mind. He says, no, like 2 + 2 = 4. I don't have to argue anymore. It's done. You get it. But here, I can prove to all of you that there's air in this room. Even if you can't see it, I can prove it to you. Very simply. If there was no air in this room, you could not breathe. Correct? Everyone accept that is true?
Yeah.
Are you breathing?
Yeah.
Therefore,
There.
there has to be air. It has to be true. He's going to do the same thing when it comes to God. He's going to show you that the universe, the way things are right now, can't be unless there is a God. And he's going to base a lot of what he says on the philosophy of Aristotle. Have you guys studied Aristotle?
Roman?
Greek.
Agreed.
Athenian, yeah. But he's from the classic era. Aristotle affects almost everything you do. Outside of Christianity, outside of Jesus, St. Paul, St. Augustine, and then those kind of guys, Socrates, Plato, but really Aristotle. If you rode in a car to get here, that was influenced by something Aristotle wrote. If you have any interaction with plants, he wrote more about botany than anybody in the ancient world. He wrote about biology, politics, ethics, poetics. You ever watch a movie? Almost every single movie you've seen has been influenced by Aristotle. He's in everything. So, to really understand Thomas, you really need to understand Aristotle. But again, Thomas says, I'm going to prove it to you. Take out your Chromebooks. I'm going to ask you this question. Yes? Someone have another pencil for Cesar. Does anyone have an extra pencil? Another pencil?
Sure.
Should we show?
I do.
You don't?
I don't care one.
No one has a second ready to
I
take?
do.
Amari?
My Chromebook stayed on when I showed it.
Okay, what?
It stayed on when I showed it.
I'll
No.
log back into that puppy.
All right.
No.
There.
Somebody, thank you, Emma. Emma
Such a
says.
good cookie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Emma, did you just come from yoga?
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, that was like the dumbest
yoga
question
pants.
ever.
You got that yoga thing going on.
The yoga thing?
Yoga fit.
Fit.
Yoga outfit.
The way you said it looked like I'm a soccer mom.
Yeah, you do.
You said you look like a soccer mom?
Delaney, my friend.
Isn't it amazing sometimes the worst and most deep cutting insults you ever get are from your closest friends?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, this is junior boys hallway, and I'll tell you, sometimes it's really difficult to tell whether someone's getting bullied or it's someone's best friend.